President Hernandez, governing board members, and Dr. Favela. This is Pam Button, Executive Director of Digital Learning and Director of Middle Schools. And I'm presenting this PowerPoint to you today after a lot of work with my colleagues NJ Utter and Roxana Rico, also with Dr. Favela and Dr. Vesley, as we have reworked the revisions of policy JFB and taken legal counsel's recommendations as well. And you've also received a copy of the redlined version of the recommended revisions of policy JFB. What I'd like to do today with this PowerPoint is just review some of the highlights that come from the recommended revisions. Start with capacity. In particular, as we've closed 2 of our schools and wait to reopen our K-8 school, we really need to carefully consider capacity prior to accepting open enrollment students. When we talk about those considerations of capacity, it's not limited just to the school size, but also to the grade level, the classroom, and the program. Programs could include special education and also our SUN program. Transportation, this is probably one of the bigger changes that we're recommending in the policy, and that is the change for out-of-district open enrollment students. In the revisions that we're recommending, out-of-district open enrollment students would not be eligible for transportation provided by Sunnyside. The exception to that would be if they can get themselves to an existing in-district pickup point, part of our regularly scheduled route, and that particular bus has the space on it. We're eligible for transportation will continue to be our in-district students who are attending one of our magnet programs that are within 5 miles of the school of attendance, or that they can get themselves to a pickup point also on an established route. Students with disabilities whose IEP specifies that and are within 10 miles of the school of attendance will be transported to their in-district school. Additionally, if they have siblings and there's space that allows them to be accepted at that same site and the bus has space, we will allow siblings to be transported if it can be accommodated by transportation. Additionally, in-district students who are for open enrollment would also be allowed to go to an existing in-district regularly scheduled pickup point for transportation as well. Special considerations as we look to see what is the prioritization for accepting open enrollment students. Considerations will be given in the following situations. One of them will be continuing the open enrollment status of students that were enrolled in that same school from the previous year. Secondly, would also be eligible children of employees in the district, not necessarily to that site alone, but also just across the district in general. Another consideration would be the siblings of continuing open enrollment students or those siblings of students enrolled in special programs. The selection process. During the approval process, a case-by-case review will be conducted on conditions that will include any history of past misconduct, students who have a high absenteeism rate, tardiness or leaving early, also students that have not demonstrated reasonable academic success. These conditions will not be applied across the board. There'll be a case-by-case review, rather whether they're in-district or an out-of-district open enrollment student. Another piece that's probably more new and more formalized in the policy recommendations that we're making is the appeal process. We more fully developed an appeal process for families of both in-district and out-of-district students whose open enrollment was denied There's a this allows for special or hardship cases to be reviewed by the principal and the assistant superintendent for student services. The appeal process has a set of new forms and timelines and points of contact so that we have a flow of information for parents who are seeking to appeal a denial of an open enrollment. One additional consideration is that pending the approval of these recommendations to policy JFB, because the approval of this policy as it's recommended would stop transportation for out-of-district open enrollment students. So there needs to be a decision made on those students who we are currently transporting this school year who are out-of-district open enrollment students. The transportation department has done some review, and their recommendation is to go ahead and continue service for those students that they're already providing it for the duration of this school year, since we're pretty close to finishing up the first quarter of school. But it would not be an option next year if their status is renewed, or it would not be offered to any new out-of-district open enrollment students who might be approved. So the intent of this PowerPoint was to just highlight some of the changes to the policy revisions that we made. And at the next governing board meeting, we are happy to entertain any questions or review any additional information that you want to take a closer look at prior to your decision to approve the recommended revisions of policy JFB. Thank you.